So over the last few months, I've been seeing a lot of people just not really knowing what to do with their collections or trying to sell their collections, maybe downsize. It just feels like a lot of people want a change within Funko. And I guess what I mean by that specifically is I guess maybe people just see Funko as a company changing. They're not as popular as they used to be. And, maybe that just scares a lot of people. They want to get their collections out now while it's valuable, or, people are just like, oh, I don't like what Funko's doing lately and I want to get out of this hobby. And this video that I'm doing today also stems from the video I did the other day last week where I said, I don't know what to do with my Funko Pops. And basically what that video was is me and Bailey are thinking about buying a house soon. And that gives me a lot of anxiety because it's a big purchase. I want to make sure I have enough money, make sure I'm not house poor. And this is all on one income. Like I was super honest with you guys, I guess vulnerable is the right word to use there. But yeah, it's a lot of stress building up. And why I specifically targeted at Funko Pops was I don't know whether to pack those up now and use a different background. I could just sit on the couch back there, but I really like the background for the videos. I know you guys like seeing the pops in the videos, but there was also another thought process that I realized I didn't mention in the video specifically, and that was, should I maybe sell more of my collection to help fund this huge purchase that we're trying to do? Obviously I think I could go through my collection and get rid of a few more lines, basically just to pad our own savings, essentially. Like I always told myself, if we had a baby accidentally, or we were trying to buy something big like a house, that I would be willing to give up a good portion of my collection to help fund that. Which obviously, does anybody really want to have to do that? No. However, I think it's something that most people would do, or it's good to have something like this to where you can invest all that money into something else that you're looking to do at that moment. Now though, back to the main topic at hand, I've been noticing a lot of people just maybe wanting to get out of Funko. I don't know if that video scared people, because that video performed a little bit better than my videos usually do. And maybe people were looking for guidance or help onto what to do with their Funko Pops. Let me know down below, honestly, how are you feeling about your collection right now? Do you want to get rid of a bunch of them? Do you want to downsize maybe? Do you want to get rid of all of them altogether and be done with Funko? Let me know. Honestly, guys, there is no wrong answer here. So some guidance I can kind of give you if you're looking to sell all your collection in one go, for example. And I have a lot of people constantly reaching out to me to buy their collections. The reason for that being is I'm sure you guys see me do my Whatnot lives. I do one once a month essentially. And that's part of my contract with Whatnot. I got to go live with them, sell some things essentially. So that's why you see me go live on top of the promotions in the video. They're a big sponsor of the channel and they really help me and Bailey out. But as I said, a lot of people reach out to me to sell their collections, or they ask me, where can I sell my collection? So here's kind of where I'm going to get completely brutally honest with you guys. Don't go in expecting 100% of your value, maybe not even 80% of your value, unless you just have a top tier collection, But let's be frank, on average, a lot of people are going to have a lot of commons and lower end exclusives, and then, you have a few grails in there too. So that's going to be on average of what people's collections are going to look like. So here are kind of your options of what you can do. If you go to a local comic shop, that's probably the worst thing you can do unless you're just looking to offload them and get done with it. But you're going to get the lowest amount of value possible if you go to a shop specifically. And the only reason I say that is it makes sense why they would give you so low. Those shops, they have a rent to pay, they have overhead costs, they got to pay employees to look through it. So they're going to give you a lot less. Usually shops like that will give you maybe 20 to 30% maybe. I did an experiment with a shop in the past where they gave me maybe 20-25% store credit and then less than that in cash. Now there is an alternative to that that's kind of similar, and that's your Whatnot sellers, Mercari, Facebook Market sellers, or whatever. People who buy and sell Funko Pops. They're going to give you the most bang for your buck in terms of buying a huge collection, unless it's just someone who's not really giving high percentages. But there are people out there that will give you 40 to 60%, which again is a huge chunk of value. They're taking on a lot of commons, lower end exclusives, taxes to pay, there's shipping fees, there's platform fees, there's a million things that go into selling, anything basically on places like Whatnot, eBay, Mercari, etc. However, from my experience in buying collections and, selling things and all that, and meeting a lot of sellers, that's usually what the percentage range is. Occasionally they'll give you higher if, like I said, your collection has a ton of grails in it essentially. But if it's a lot of lower end stuff, you're looking at a lower percentage just because sometimes those are harder to move. Now, those are your two options of selling bulk and like getting rid of everything in one go. Of course, you can find these sellers over on Instagram, Facebook. You can go to your local comic shops if you have a really good one. You can kind of negotiate something like that. But like I said, Funko isn't as big as it used to be. Like, they're trying to get back on track. But this isn't 5-6 years ago where they were kind of peaking essentially in popularity. And even though people still buy Funko Pops a lot, I mean, you can see this alone based off Whatnot, you know, seller streams daily, as well as eBay sold listings daily. There's thousands, literally thousands. People buy a lot of Funko Pops. It's still not as popular as it used to be. So even selling your collection sometimes is harder. You just got to find the right seller. Now, the other alternative is selling them individually. That's where you're going to get your most value and kind of maximum value essentially. But there's also alternatives to that too. You could sell all your grails out of your collection to get, you know, maximum value out of those higher end pieces, and then just bulk sell all the commons and lower end, like, you know, $20 and under pops essentially. Like, that's an option too. That's probably something maybe I would do if I needed to get rid of a lot of things very quickly. I would sell everything expensive and then offload the lower end stuff for way cheaper. Really, guys, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to go about it. Essentially, it just depends on how much you're trying to get out of it. I guess I'm just also making this video to tell you, like, you know, like, if you're looking for a change, or, you know, your heart's not in it as much, that's perfectly okay. It's understandable. You know, you maybe just want to move on to a different collectible. It happens all the time. It really does. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for it, because there are a lot of diehard Funko Pop collectors out there who will make you feel bad for it, who will kind of be like, oh, well, you know, you're just being a hater, or, you know, Funko's not actually dying, you're just listening to the news, or things like that. Like, genuinely, this is coming from someone who's done this for 8 years, who made a career out of it. Funko by no means is as popular as it used to be. But I couldn't sit here and lie to you guys and be like, Funko's dead. Like, it's just not. It's not. I see it every single day. There's still so much life in the Funko community, which is great. I love it. It gives me a job still, obviously. But it's definitely interesting depending on the collector you talk to, because some people feel like it's completely done, and a lot of people feel like it still has so much life into it. So I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a different conversation entirely. I kind of want to just give you some options of what you can do with your collection if you're looking to downsize, or, you know, get rid of everything all in one go, and tell you that it's okay. Like, it's perfectly okay. There's going to come a time where everybody might have to do something like this. Even the diehard of diehard collectors might have to. You know, there might be an expensive surgery you have to pay for. Like me, you maybe want to buy a house. And to be honest, guys, I've said this over many years in many of my videos. I probably won't be collecting Funko Pops forever. Do I still like them currently? Yes. Am I still actively buying them? Yes. Am I buying as much as I used to? No, because Funko does a lot of things I don't like, and I've voiced my opinions on this in the videos. And honestly, they just drop so much sometimes that it's just like, I don't really want to finish certain lines because it's just not worth it. Like, I don't want to spend all that money, and I don't have the space to store all of them. So I've just become more picky. I've become more selective on what I'm buying. I'm trying to stick to just like 1 or 2 variations of a character if I can, unless it's like really cool and I just have to have it. But these are different ways that you can kind of like downsize your collection, keep it smaller, but also keep the characters you love all at the same time. Like, there's a million ways to go about it, truly. But at the end of the day, don't let anybody make you feel bad for whatever decision you make, whether you want to get out or, you know, stay in and just collect a lot less than you used to. Because I've definitely got the comments where people tell me, oh, your heart's not in it anymore, or, oh, you know, you've changed, or things like that. And I'm like, at the same time, guys, I've been doing this 8 years. Most of you guys, if you've been here since the beginning of the channel, back in like 2018, it's where I like really did it. I mean, I was 18. I'm 26 now. I'm going to be 27 this year, you know? A lot of you guys watched me still grow up from being 18 to now a grown man. So it's just like, you know, like I've just changed a lot over the years. Whereas when I was younger, I was a lot more aggressive in the videos. I was a lot more outspoken. Now I'm a little bit more reserved. I think I've just become a lot more grown up with the way I talk in the videos, and kind of like carry myself, essentially, is the best way I can kind of put it. You know, I don't need to be like screaming from the heavens about how I feel about Funko. Like, I just don't need to do that in a video. I've done that. I kind of realized it didn't really do much, you know, so I took a different approach. You know, I can critique something without yelling about it, you know, or getting overly aggressive in the videos about it. And some people even don't like that. You know, I feel like I've calmed down a lot in the videos over the years. You know, I can definitely see some of my videos in the past where I'm just like, you know, yelling at Funko or just like super mad. I'm just like, at the end of the day, it's just a collectible, you know, like I was young. I just, you know, even though I may feel that way still about Funko and I may, you know, not like everything they do, at the end of the day, you know, they're a toy company. They're just trying to make their money. They're trying to hit their quarterly earnings reports and all that. And it's a company, it's a business essentially. And that's just the way you have to look at it sometimes. So, but yeah, I like to think that I've changed a lot for the better, but like then you have the occasional person that I'll get a comment from and they'll be like, you've changed, you know, you're different, or, you know, you don't appreciate the fans as much. I'm like, what has really changed here other than I've just grown up, you know? I don't love Funko as much as I used to, but I still have a love for Funko. I'm still doing the videos here for you guys. I still go out of my way to answer any questions that people have when people send me, you know, messages. I do my best to help everybody out the best I can. But I can't sit here and say that I love Funko as much as I used to. I'm not gonna just sit here and lie to you guys. I think that's very apparent with how much of my collection I've downsized on, and, you know, how careful and more selective I've been with buying my pops. You know, you guys don't see unboxing videos from me all the time anymore, you know, just because there's not a lot that I'm buying all the time. You know, I have my core collection here that I really like, and occasionally I'm adding to it. I don't know, guys. It's been a pretty interesting 8 years. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. Eventually, I would like to move on, though. I think it's natural. I think it's normal to want to move on from something, even though I've put so much of my life into it. But I don't know. I don't want to keep on going on and rambling on and all that. I'm just here to tell you it's okay if you want to get rid of your collection, you know. I gave you a couple options if you're looking for options. And, you know, I would just say it's always good to just look at your collection and reevaluate. Make sure that's everything that you want in your collection. If not, downsize. Put the money into something else that you want. You want a new car? Some people have Funko Pop collections worth a new car, you know? And of course, at the same time, I should probably mention it's perfectly okay if you want to keep buying Funko Pops at the same speed and capacity that you have been. If you can afford it, you know, and it's not affecting your bills, or, you know, you're feeding your kids or you're feeding your pets okay, it's not affecting your life in any negative way, and you can afford to keep up with the Funko hobby as is, more power to you. Perfectly fine. I love that for everybody. Anyways, though, guys, this video ended up being a little bit longer than I anticipated. I hope it was enjoyable. Hopefully it was kind of insightful or helpful to you guys. And of course, let me know down below how you're feeling about Funko lately. And, you know, if you've been looking to get rid of your collection or maybe make a change into something else, I would love to hear from you guys. That aside, though, I do want to go ahead and end off the video by saying a big shout out to all the awesome Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys are amazing for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are interested and want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And finally, make sure to follow me on all my social medias at Skittlerampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.